you're a resident of Hawaii, don't change the channel because your home is in danger. Global climate change is affecting the landscape of the entire planet, Hawaii included.
Hawaii's native forests, a staple of Hawaii's identity and an alluring spectacle for thousands of travelers, may be the key to changing climate change. But how? Let's take this scene for example, a forest full of litter. The trash you see here can represent the excess carbon emissions in Earth's atmosphere, floating around and contributing to climate change. If we introduce trees, demonstrated by our helper here, the trash starts to get picked up and relocated to be used somewhere else. In this case, the trees will use the carbon to create oxygen. And as we add more trees, more carbon gets repurposed into oxygen. No more pesky excess carbon hanging around. What if we were to lose trees instead? The landscape has become nothing but trash. There's carbon everywhere, and it's causing Hawaii wildfires, loss of land, and loss of life. What will you do to change Hawaii's fate? What will you do to stop climate change? What will you do? What will you do?
To be honest, I didn't know what I should do. I needed to find people who knew what the best ways to combat climate change is, and it looked like Heather McMillan from the Department of Land and Natural Resources was a great person to start with.
Hi, Heather, right?
Hey, Alex.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I work in the forestry section, and the program that I work in is urban and community forestry. We really focus on trees as a way to mitigate climate change. So tree planting, but also maintaining and preserving and caring for trees so they can live into their full potential to develop these big, beautiful canopies. Mm-hmm. These are the kind of trees that help us sequester the most carbon.
What can I do as a resident of Oahu here in Hawaii to maybe help you guys or just, help fight climate change with you?
Great question. You can come to our Arbor Day celebration this weekend at Foster Botanic Garden. Mm-hmm. In addition to the Arbor Day event this weekend, there are so many ways that you can help out and volunteer. If you'd rather work up in the forest reserves, there are opportunities up at Pohole to do some invasive species removal and native tree outplanting.
Awesome. Thank you. I was glad I talked to Heather. She gave me a lot of great insight. I later went with my friend to work with Jenna Masters on the Pohole Ridge.
Coming up and down cliffs, there is going to be a lot of parts where we're going to funnel in. We all did our part a little bit in preserving our native ecosystem here at Pohole Natural Area Reserve. And doing that, we removed certain habitat modifiers, and those are species that can really change the way the ecosystem functions. Forestry efforts can combat global climate change because the forest is one of the biggest sinks for carbon, right? And it's not necessarily an individual tree species or an individual tree. It's the forest working together as a complete ecosystem. So it's having all those different levels of canopy, mid-level, your ground covers, sequestering some of that carbon from the atmosphere, eventually scrubbing it into that breathable oxygen that we have today. And to do that, you need these intact ecosystems.
Being on the ridge and listening to Jenna made everything click. I went to the Arbor Day event at Foster Botanical Garden the next day, and I got to see everyone working together to bring native plants to where they live. Later, I planted native trees around UH Manoa, where I live, and it felt really satisfying knowing that I was doing great dividends in the fight against climate change. I learned so much from so many people, and I've started to take action to save my home. So, what will you do?